Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. So, it is so many benefits to being proactive. I remember during the recession, I would hear people saying, listen, I need a job. And they wouldn't hire people who need it. And the person, they hired a person who had a job and they applied for another job as opposed to, I don't have a job. And
that's time to look for a job is when you already have one.
Yes. And again, Brother Frederick was saying this, I try not to get so caught up on religious philosophy and how spiritual are, but a foundation is so important because it gives you some morals and values. No matter if you're a Muslim, a Catholic, or a Jehovah's Witness, or a Christian, or a Baptist, or whatever, you have to have respect. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff. And so we teach them emotional intelligence, teaching them how to think about things before they react. Can't be impulsive. These are some of the learned behaviors as you listen. Just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye. Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suavelous day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence the pay. Okay,
I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled, Dr. Brother Suave.
Divine light give you double.
Greetings, this is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, creator, and your host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Man, so happy to be woke up and to see a day I'd never seen before, another day to get it right, and another day to tell my friends and family and those I love and respect, I love you. And thank you for attending. Listen, so happy for this beautiful Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, and a new season, episode 1. Man, can you believe that? Episode 1 of season 6. Man, we're doing this thing here at Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. But first, I want to just give a special shout out. Opelika has lost a great one today. Kid I grew up with in Opelika, the great city of Opelika. His name was Chavis, but we called him Bumpy Johnson. So it's Chavis, Bumpy Johnson, Brownlee. He was part of the Brownlee clan. Man, Opelika lost a great one, man. I just seen him about a few months back when I was back home. And, we always say a few things to each other and crack jokes, and just going to miss it. It wasn't some news I was expecting when I got the call today. But bless up. My condolences to the Brownlee family. So just wanted to recognize you. So anyway, we're back. We're back. Life after the gridiron. Man, we are so excited because last year was Suave amazing. But this year is going to be even more Suave amazing because we have with us some Hall of Famers. We got some Super Bowl champions, multiple championships, Super Bowl, which is historic. We got some record breakers. We got some trendsetters. We got some successful world travelers, businessmen, and all types of people who did things after their life in professional sports. So listen, I'm so happy. I'm so happy just to be able to recognize those people who came last season. Some of the people were Melvin Bratton, Alan Simonet, Javon Nanton, FSU, Enzo Armello, and the Los Angeles Lakers, Irvin Thomas. we just appreciate those cats because I'm telling you, they really set it off last year. We're going to try to keep this going on year in and year out. And this is our second annual Life After the Gridiron. So this evening, my very special guest is a long-term friend. Not only just a friend, it's a brother to me. And not only a brother, he's a fraternity brother. But he's not only that. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a speaker. He's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. Oh, I'm messing up. An author, but also a world traveler. But not just that. This man is a former defensive tackle for the best voted defense in the history of the NFL. They even outbeat the Chicago Bears. Can you believe that? This man played for Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, the Houston, Houston, Texas, something like that. Texas, Houston, something like that. I forgot that team. And I'm just messing up. But anyway, but the thing is, this man is a Super Bowl champion. You know, a lot of times this is the goal. When people get into professional football, they want to win a Super Bowl. And so a lot of people, a lot of NFL greats, Hall of Famers, never got that ring. This brother got it. So without further ado, let's bring on the champ. The champ is here, y'all. The champ is here. So without further ado, let's bring on no other than Mr. Lional Dalton.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Taking it slow, enjoying this beautiful Atlanta weather.
Okay, what that say? Janae said, "Qua." Okay, I see the background. Look at you, man. So how you feeling, man? You say you that beautiful Atlanta weather.
I love Atlanta. In Atlanta, especially from work. Everybody's out here hustling, grinding, and keeps me on point when I come here. So definitely a place that motivates.
Okay. Seem to have a little. Yeah, it was freezing up, but it's okay. We're gonna work through it.
Okay.
No, we're gonna work through this. So listen, yeah, man, I'm just happy to see you. You know, again, we're brothers, man. It's been what, about 10 years, man? A whole decade or so.
Yeah, I think I met you. I met you when my 9-year-old was born. So it's almost been 10 years. She's 9.
Yeah. We was at a fraternity meeting, man.
Yeah, I met you.
Yeah.
At the frat meeting, correct.
Yeah, it was a frat meeting, and I remember you purchased my book, man. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been tight ever since, man. You may not be from Opalaka, but I'm telling you, all right, bro.
Opalaka. You and your Opalaka.
Yeah, man. So listen, you know, as we get this thing started, tell us a little bit about your background. I know that you're from the D, so tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised, 1975. Went to Detroit, Cooley High School. Went to Eastern Michigan for 4 years. Later there for 4 years. Became a free agent rookie with the Baltimore Ravens in '98. Played 4 years with the Ravens. Won Super Bowl 35. Then I went to Kansas. Played 3 years. Played Denver. Won. Houston won. Washington won. Then I retired. And now I've been the last 2 years. I've just been developing and flipping real estate.
Okay. Oh, you went through that quick. I guess I didn't get a chance to ask my questions in that order.
Okay.
But you went through.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. No, so and go. I think you just cut out about 15 minutes.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's okay. So again, you're from the D, and so you said you went to Eastern Michigan.
Yes, EMU. Yeah.
What's that experience like? You know, because I mean, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the way you played and being a champion that you are and the level that you played, it seemed like, you know, Michigan would have wanted you.
Actually, originally I was supposed to go to Michigan, and then I was having too much fun with the ladies, and I didn't take my SAT seriously, so I never passed it. So I ended up going to Eastern Michigan as a Prop 48. I don't know if they offer it anymore, but it's like, instead of going to a JUCO, you can go to a school, sit out a year, earn a 2.5 or better, and then give you a scholarship your third year. So I did that. I did that at Eastern Michigan. And why I did it, because Michigan's only 5 minutes from there, so it kind of kept me hungry, you know, and it showed me what I could have had. So I actually kept a chip on my shoulder by seeing all the Michigan players. and so it motivated me to keep working hard. And so I'll play a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys who went to Michigan, only played 1 or 2 years in the league, and I played 9. So I use it as a motivator to keep, the hustle and keep going, and to prove those guys wrong that they should have had, took a shot on me.
Well, they should have, and you definitely. I'm telling you, those chips in the shoulder help us go to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
you know what, and that's great. Because I mean, look at you. You're successful, but you got that ring, and millions wish they got it, and you got it. That's why they play a game. They want a ring. We got Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, never got a ring, and so a lot of players just wish they got it, and you got it, and you had a successful career.
Yeah, I was definitely lucky to win one early. Had a great team. Like I said, when Ted Marchibroda left, they kept Marvin Lewis on, so we kept our defense together, and we picked up Brian Billick, and he brought Shannon Sharp, and he brought Jamal Lewis on board. So that's all the 2 pieces we needed. We always had a great defense. We just couldn't put any points on the board. So so our second year with Brian Billick, we won the Super Bowl. That was my 3rd year in NFL, so I won one early, and I was blessed. I've had a pretty blessed career. I've had a lot of success early in my career, which made it enjoyable. I had a good time when I was in the NFL.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good. You played. So when I was introducing you, so how does it feel? Because, for years, you have in the NFL a lot of great defenses. But for years, they used to talk about that 85, 86 Chicago Bear defense. But your defense was the best in the history of the NFL. How do you feel about that, being a part of that?
It just makes sense, what I'm saying? We've been together for 5 years, even after Marchibroda retired, and we had a philosophy, they don't score, they don't win. And during the first year when Billy was there, our offense sucked, so we would win some games, it'd be 3-6. You know what I'm saying? Our field goal kicker was the leading scorer for the first half of the season. That year we won the Super Bowl, and so I think when you don't score, you don't win. And that's how we end up becoming number 1. We had the fewest points scored in NFL history against the defense. We allowed the fewest points in NFL history. That's still a record to this day. We broke it in 2000. I think we're going on 23 years.
That's incredible.
Holding that record.
That's incredible. Yes. And so after playing that, of course, that first contract and then getting a ring very early in your career, so at this point, a lot of times, we always hear once a team wins the Super Bowl, it really ups the ante with a lot of players, and they become more valuable. Their stock increases. How did that happen for you?
It happened to a lot of us. Like all our backups except 3, all the second strings went other places and ended up starting. I went to Denver and started. A lot of the guys went other places and started. So it definitely dismantled the team. But you came in, you're back, and you're second string. Everybody want to start when everybody want to make big bucks. So a lot of guys, second string guys, left and started in other teams, and had the opportunity to become stars themselves. So it happens, but it's part of the game. You can't expect somebody to stay stagnant for the rest of their life. We all want to elevate and move forward, and that's what I did when I went to Denver.
Okay,
that was the reason I left. But I love Baltimore, but I had to leave. Denver paying more.
Yes, of course, it's all about that money because you got the ring.
Right.
Some people they get the money, and sometimes it's like, wow, I got the money, but I want that ring. And you remember at New England, a lot of players went to New England because they wanted a ring.
Yeah, I think it's for the memories and a legacy, something you can share with your grandkids, and I like watching Super Bowl because they always show the old Super Bowls, and so I did things like I would dump the coach with the water because I know for the rest of my life they're gonna always show me one, and the guy that dumped the coach with the water.
Yes.
See myself on TV, so I always did things like that I knew that once I get old, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna enjoy it. So I did a lot of things to get a little play. So when the Super Bowl, Hard Knocks, you can always catch me on it because I'm always doing something silly or trying to find the camera. Yeah.
Yes. So once you played you got your ring, and you mentioned that you went to Kansas City, but you did say you played 9 years. So what other teams did you play for? And tell us about that experience.
Well, I left Baltimore. I went to Denver. It was a different culture. In Baltimore, the veterans don't practice as hard, and our backup do all the work.
Okay.
So I went to Denver. It was reverse. If I pay you, Mike Shanahan was, I pay you, you're gonna work hard, and the backup is gonna watch you. So me used to that Baltimore culture, tried to bring it to Denver. We clashed, and Shanahan ended up trading me because I was focused on the Baltimore culture. I was like, I couldn't wait till I started so I can have the life that Saragusa and the guys in front of me who I looked up to had. I went to Denver and I tried to bring that Baltimore culture over there, and Shanahan wasn't having it. So he traded me over to Washington. I went to Washington for a year. I was there with Steve Spurrier, and he was a horrible NFL coach. He was a great college coach in NFL.
Yes, yeah,
he was horrible. So I go to Steve Spurrier. I go to his last year when he didn't really care. He was just wanted to play the rest of the season because he was guaranteed like $15 million if he finished the season. So we was just pretty much the last season in Washington was a joke. And then I ended up going to Kansas. I met with Dick Vermeil. They wanted me. I was supposed to go there, but Denver offered me more money. Kansas City wanted me originally when I left Baltimore. What I wish I would have went there in the first place. So I ended up going to Kansas City my last 3 years in the league. Played for Dick Vermeil. Had a great time. He was a great coach. Probably had statistically had my best season there. And I enjoyed it. Kansas City is a good time. It's a football town. I enjoyed myself. Really humbled me because it's real slow, and I'm used to the fast life living in the city. So I got married and everything and slowed down. It really humbled me, and I enjoyed Kansas City. I couldn't live there, but I definitely enjoyed my time I spent there.
Yes. So, so being a former member of the Kansas City Chiefs, how do you feel about these 2 championships? You feel like you're a part of it?
No, because I didn't win them. I wish they would have won when I was there, but I was happy for the guys. I knew some, the owner's son is really cool. Before the owner passed, before Lamar Hunt passed away, I used to work out every Monday morning, and Lamar Hunt would be in there. We would talk chopping. Junior would be in there, so I chopped it up with him. So I'm happy for him because I knew how bad he wanted to bring a championship, for his dad, and especially winning the AFC trophy since it's named after his family. So I was happy for the family because the Hunt family is really good. They probably one of the most humblest owners families I've met. Real humble people, real laid back. He drove a Prius to work. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
This is the owner's son. They work. His daddy cornered the silver market. So they got long bread, but they were real humble people. You wouldn't know they had money from the way they carried themselves and the cars they drove. So they're really humble, laid-back people, real Midwestern people, and I really enjoyed playing for the organization.
Great. So as you closed out your career, a lot of times we have a lot of athletes forced to get out of the game due to injury. Did you go out healthy or moderately healthy, or did you have?
I hurt myself, and I got hurt in Houston, and I decided to rush back, and then I got hurt again. I should have set my butt down somewhere. But I got hurt in Houston. I had surgery. I had a tryout. I was about to retire because I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. Then I got a call from Detroit Lions. I'm from Detroit, so I said, I got 1 year for the Lions would be cool just to say I played at home. And my old coach, who was in Kansas, who left at the Herm Edwards took over Kansas City. My old coach, rest in peace, Gunther Cunningham, defensive coordinator, was in Detroit. He tried to bring me over there. I went over there, hit the bag, felt the tingling sensation go down my back. I said, no, I'm done. I'm not about to try to kill myself to get another check or just to play for Detroit, and I just retired. I did a workout for the Lions. I felt weird. I said, I'm done. And that was the end of my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hang on. Great college career, great professional career, a Super Bowl champion, nice contracts, things that you worked hard for, and almost had an opportunity to take it home in your hometown. But you got out relatively healthy. So now, what's next? Okay, what am I gonna do after I leave the game? A lot of times people have issues transitioning. Sometimes they go into depression. Sometimes they just don't know exactly what they want to do because you spend a whole life playing football and trying to get to this place. Now the journey is over in that area. So you go to the next level. So what was next for you?
I tried everything. I started off trying to be an agent. And then I said, I'm not about to chase these little spoiled little boys around trying to get them to sign. I didn't have the patience to deal with them. I had one little kid coming out of Michigan State. I forget his name, but he made me follow him around campus all night. And he wouldn't give me a word when he just had me follow. I was like, man, I'm not chasing. I was an agent for probably 1 week. With that, Did the NFL broadcasting boot camp. That was fun. I enjoyed it for a little bit, but I just don't like talking about sports all day. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? That got boring to me for a minute, and I love to travel. So I try to
Yes.
figure something that I can make money off traveling. So me and my wife traveled for about 8 months around the world, trying to find where we want to live, look for investment opportunities. Then I decided I wanted to be an international real estate developer. But so we bought properties in different parts of the country. And I'm trying to convince my wife to move abroad, but she didn't want to leave her family. And finally, she decided, this year that she was okay with moving. So right now, we moved to Costa Rica, and I'm in the process of building a boutique hotel in Costa Rica.
Okay. So that experience is traveling around the world. You got a chance to see a lot of things, and one of the things I know is that when people have the financial resource, I think it's one of the best things they can do, especially like when we come out of particular cities or inner cities and we're making the finances. It doesn't make sense to make money and don't utilize it. And I'm not talking about material things. I remember watching a YouTube video about, I don't know, was the young rapper, Lil Baby, spending $50,000 on a Rolex watch and all those things. But traveling around the world, those are things that, in my opinion, a lot more valuable than just material things and being hood rich or whatever. But being able to get those things, like our health is our wealth, but travel is another level of wealth and experiences, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I definitely love broaden my horizon. I think I've learned a lot just from traveling. I think traveling is I think traveling is better for children than actually school.
Yes.
Different cultures, um, and different dialect. My kids are learning Spanish right now. You get exposed to so much, and I love it. I love traveling, and right now, I'm finally starting to do the dream I wanted to do was develop land in other countries. So that's right now. That's just my focus. Just trying to living the dream, doing the things, manifesting my dreams, and working to build something, a legacy for my children.
Yeah. And speaking of traveling,
hmm
I recall you and I was talking about you was going to do some traveling. So I'm anticipating, I think you said you're going to do about 30 days of traveling. And if I'm not mistaken, that ended up being about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I traveled for 8 months.
Yes.
Yeah, we were trying to find out where we wanted to live in the
Yeah.
world. And for me, it was just trying to expose my wife to something other than the United States. She's never really, before she got with me, she's never been outside the U.S. So I was just trying to expose her to a little bit of everything. So we started in Southeast Asia, Bali, then we went to Korea, we went to Zimbabwe, we went to Kenya, Ethiopia. So I just tried to show her, I need to be on the southern side of the equator. I can't be on the northern side. I like heat.
You do not
heat.
like the cold.
I don't like cold at all. And I grew up in Michigan, so I had enough cold for a lifetime. And so I tried to expose her to the places that I like, and she ended up getting pregnant while we were in China, and she didn't want to have a baby overseas, so we came back home. We wanted to leave Florida, so we moved to Atlanta. Yeah. So we had a baby here in Atlanta, and we stayed in Atlanta for 4 years, and I finally convinced her to move outside of the country. It took a while, but I finally got her to move.
Yes.
Willing to relocate.
It's this world is huge. I've done some traveling myself quite a bit. However, I definitely was able to learn so much through his travel. You guys, I got a chance to see those. Where was those rice fields? It was just
that was in Bali, Indonesia.
Indonesia, yes.
Yeah,
oh my God. Oh my God. That was the most beautiful thing, because he would, we would call and talk on the phone, and the stuff that I was able to see. I mean, I felt like I was there because it was up close and personal, seeing the monkeys, and what it was the place where you could sleep outside when you guys had people to watch.
That was Misamara National Park. So we did some, I call it glamping. So it was a luxury tent, but it was in the middle of the jungle. So we wake up. It's a guy right there with a gun. Everybody had a tracker sleeping next to him with a gun outside.
Yes.
We come outside, I can look out into the savannah and I can see lions running.
Yes.
It was surreal. It was like surreal. Beautiful.
Yes, that was
so I did beautiful. That for about we were there for like We were in Kenya for about a week, but we did a safari in the jungle for about 3-4 days.
Yes, and I think where was the place that I was fussing because it, for a whole hour massage for one person, it was like
$11.
$8, Bali,
Yeah, that was Thailand.
Thailand, and then the
Yeah,
other one went
Phuket.
up $2 more, and I was like, they trying to cheat you. It went to $10.
Yeah, it was Phuket. So it was $11 if they come to your house. It's $8 if you go to their place.
Oh
It's
my God.
US.
I would get a massage. I would get a massage 3 times a day.
And it was like the best massage I had in my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were doing it. I was doing at least 3 to 4 massages a week.
Yes. Yes. That was really an incredible experience. And so I just, when you said like exposing people to things, man, I appreciate the fact that I was exposed to it vicariously and was able to live that vicariously through you. And I just can't wait to get myself in a situation where I can do the world travels at the extent that you have thus far. But I just know it ain't over for you. I know you still doing some travel. I know, like you said recently, you in what part of the world now?
So right now we live in Central America.
Central America.
I want to explore Central America, but I'm also 2 hours from Colombia. So me and my wife decided we're gonna start vacationing in South America now. So we're gonna hit up a different country in South America, and so because she's never been to South America, I've been to about 3 countries in South America.
Okay.
And so we're gonna start exploring South America because we're so close now. So and there's still places in Central America I haven't been. So I want to go to Dr. Sebi's Usha Research Center, which is in Honduras. So I want to go there, and it's a few other places. I want to check out Central America. It's beautiful there.
Yeah.
Central America is probably one of the most beautiful places I've seen in travel, outside of Bali. Really beautiful there.
Okay. And so I'm sorry for going back, but it was something that I want to ask you. When you left the league and you said you done a whole bunch of things, was it any time that you even had a moment that you wanted to get yourself back in the football shape and just try out for the Detroit Lions?
Only time I thought about going back was when I got divorced and my ex-wife took some of my money and said, "Miss, I can go back for a couple of years and make that money back." But that's the only time I thought about going back. No, I didn't want to go back. I went to a couple games and I saw the guy defensive lineman and offensive lineman, warming up, hitting each other. I was like, "Ooh, I used to do that." So I knew once I started cringing at them hitting each other, like I knew it was over for me.
Yeah, they have a commercial out there now. I think with Dan Marino, Emmitt Smith.
I saw that. Yeah. Ooh, you go look at it now, like, damn, I used to do that. That looked brutal. That's what brutal. It looked. But when I was in it, I was in it. It didn't feel brutal when I was, in tip-top shape. When you get older, you start to feel like, ooh, your body start hurting just looking at them hit each other.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I'm sorry going back to football, but it was just the fact that, when you think about those injuries, you think about when they had that concussion protocol and a lot of people was able to get, I guess, a class action suit against the NFL. But what's your opinion about artificial turf? Because artificial turf is, in my opinion, is just completely dangerous. And I don't know why the owners they're worrying about keeping the grass up and trying to save money when they're making so much money in profit.
I think they like artificial turf, but artificial turf speeds the game up. You're a lot faster on artificial turf than it is on grass. So the hits are bigger. It just speeds up the game. It's a lot faster. It's a lot more excitement. But at the expense, it's also tearing up players' knees. And, some guys try to go out there and play in cleats on turf. You plant your foot the wrong way. You blowing that knee out, you blowing that leg. You know what I'm saying? You blowing. You're tearing ligaments and joints, and so I never played with the spikes on the turf. I played with gym shoes, so I'd rather slip than get my knee stuck in the turf. So I never really was a fan of turf, even though at Eastern Michigan, that's all I played on. And but at Eastern Michigan, they used to make us wear knee braces because they knew the damage of the turf. So it was mandatory. All the defensive line and offensive line, we had to wear knee braces.
Now you said it, but you said at Eastern Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches had you guys to wear knee braces, so that shows that they had insight to protect their investment And this is college, and it's not coming out of the coach's pocket. But what about these owners? Why don't they protect their investment? Because their investment is costing them maybe $100 million per athlete, a quarterback, running back, receiver. Why they're not protecting their investment? It only makes sense.
It makes sense, but you got to know, even some of the richest people are some of the cheapest people. And so why fix it if I don't have to? If I can keep making money and I can replace him with always another running back. There's always another. It's like 200,000 players come out of college each year. Only 1% make it. So they got so many. The supply is so high for people trying to make it. I guess they figure they can always fill them in. So I'm telling them we just numbers. Move him, he get hurt, put him in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's part of the game. But they treat us like last guys. What do you call it? $1 million slaves.
Yeah.
I can just replace him, work him till he's done, kick him off, and then put a new guy in.
Yeah.
And that's just. It's part of the game. When you choose it, I'm not saying I'm not saying they're wrong or right, but they're going into it. So you chose that life, so you can't complain about it. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it reminds me of how the car companies, they have damaged vehicles, and what they do is they don't care. They don't try to fix it. And so people die and lose their lives. And so what the people do is do a class action suit, and they'll lose about $30 million. They're like, okay, I give a whole bunch of people $500,000 and be done with it. Fix the car. Because they just sold way more. So they didn't really take an L with it.
Right. And they got so much medicine and stuff now, they can patch it up and shoot you up. Like I tore my not my Achilles, but I tore my hip flexor.
Okay.
Tell us about that. My knee up. These dudes put a slingshot around my leg and my hip. So if I'm on the sideline, my leg was up automatically, and I had to push it down myself. So I can still run. My leg would come up on its own. I had the strength to push it down because that's the hamstring, but to bring it up, it's the hip flexor. And so they had my hip. They gave me pretty much artificial hip flexor with tape. And so all they do is patch you up, shoot you up, and put you back out there until it's like a used car until you eventually, your body dies.
It sounds like they just putting duct tape on you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is, man. They patch you up, shoot you up, and when they shoot you up, you don't feel any pain for 3 hours. I don't care. You can have a broken anything.
I'm familiar with those shots.
Yeah. It's Toradol shots. So is it Toradol? Yeah. Those Toradol and those anti-inflammatories.
Yeah.
And that's the lawsuit they have right now. The lawsuit have not, because you're not supposed to take those together. Anti-inflammatory, it causes kidney damage. Ironically, and I have issues with my kidneys. And so that's another lawsuit they're looking to do right now, too, with kidneys. Because they don't know it's a lot of NFL players secretly on dialysis. They don't talk about that. A lot of guys have a kidney issue.
Really?
A lot of players because of the medication. So right now, it's a class action lawsuit for medication. And it's a lawyer just called me probably a year ago trying to put together a class action lawsuit for kidney damage because of the medication they're giving us. Because the doctors administer the shots, and they know you're not supposed to take anti-inflammatory and get the Toradol shot. Yeah. So and there's a lot going on. They don't tell you about behind the scenes.
Yeah, like they say, not for long. NFL, right. So you're not going to be there for long, and they don't have to deal with you. But with the class action,
the owners know that, so they already looking to replace you. Always looking to replace.
Yeah, because they probably know people are going to say, "Hey, you're not there anymore." They're going to be trying to work on their issues, but when they investigate, they find out where the issues originated from, and so the class action suits. NFL, the class action suits are coming. Just putting you on notice. They are coming.
They already filed a couple. They already filed the one for medication.
Okay.
That's the one coming next, the one for kidney damage. A lot of players are dealing with.
Yes. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go into station identification, and we'll be right back with our very special guest, Mr. Lional Dalton.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice, got voice, you heard?
Back with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave with a very special guest, Super Bowl champion Lionel Dalton. Lionel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. So so we got that out. So this is one I want to talk about. This book of yours. Who the hell are we? So so what made you come up with that name?
Throughout my experience from NFL, so I played in different cities. We traveled to a lot of cities, so I would meet different people from all over the world. Had good conversations with like Hebrew Israelites who tell us we're from Israel. We're the original, we're the original Israelites. I met people who are Native Americans when I traveled to San Jose. Black Native Americans in Florida, parts of Florida too. People are natives.
Yes.
So I met different Black people off the world who claim that they're not originally from Africa, but they were here in the States already. So and I like studying history. I'm a student of history and I'm a student of religion. And so getting all this information from different people, I decided that I want to go find out who I am.
Yes.
So I decided I'm just going to do this world tour and I thought I was going to go over to Africa and find my roots. Like I'm just going to go over there and ask somebody they're my cousin. But that was part of the reason I wanted to travel as well, just to see the world and maybe find my roots. I did the Ancestry.com. They said I was from in the Ghana, Nigeria, and Western African area. So I traveled all through there and just was trying to figure out where my people are originally from, who am I? And I figured I would figure it out through just a vibe, or God would shed light and show me where I'm from originally. So that's part of my journey, was traveling and trying to figure out who am I. And it was about a spiritual journey for me transitioning. I used to be really heavy into the church, and now I'm heavy into spirituality and just learning, all the duality of life and different cultures and different belief systems, and just trying to figure out my place here in the world. And me and my family place here in the world, and where we're from, and just learning about different cultures. And so it was just about me trying to figure out, like, who am I? Who are we? Who are the Black people here in America and in the world, and where we originally from? Because a lot of our history was taken from us.
Yes.
hidden from us, taken and hidden from us.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of times, a lot of people forget about, even just here in America, the indigenous people, just forgetting about those people that existed. Because, sometimes we are so miseducated, thinking everybody come from Africa, but not realizing people was here, So again, it was a great book. And how you don't even think about how huge Africa is when it comes to those 52 different countries in Africa, something like that.
It's a lot of different. You see how many countries in Africa?
52.
Like 50. Yeah, 52. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, something like that.
Nigeria alone has 700 languages.
What did you say about Nigeria?
Nigeria alone has over 700 languages.
700 languages, my brother. I tell you.
Just in one country.
In one country.
Yes.
And let me tell you something about Nigerians. And it's crazy how rich in culture, how intelligent, how well world traveled Nigerians are. Even the people in Africa, it seems like when they come here, people underestimate them. When a person that can speak so many different languages, it would show to be how valuable they are. But sometimes they get marginalized.
Mm-hmm. It's my opinion that the Nigerian people are probably some of the most brilliant people on the planet.
I mean, yes.
You think about it. They invented the internet. They invented so many things come out of West Africa and Nigeria that's invented that they just don't get credit for.
Absolutely. Don't give any credit at all.
Right. They always talk about the Chinese, but the Nigerian ones are scoring the highest on the test scores. SET, those are Nigerians.
Yeah.
They don't talk about them like that, but they're some of the most brilliant people I've met on the planet. Yeah.
And funny thing, I don't know how true this is, but I remember meeting a person from Nigeria that I did some business with, and I remember he was so angry because he said he invented the navigation system. He was just talking about it, a part of, I think for the cars or something like that.
Yeah, they did invent that
company, and he was saying because he couldn't fight against the big company, but he said he gave them his blueprint, trusting when he came to America that they would. And he said, he lost every single thing fighting that, and he couldn't fight the big machine, and he's still mad to date. He was just, and for
some of them, he lucky though. Some of them brothers disappeared. Y'all know you heard about the little brother from Nigeria, Africa that made ocean water drinkable. He made a machine that can make ocean water drinkable.
Well, I haven't seen him.
And somehow he jumped off a building. Somehow he fell again.
Yeah, and the thing is, the same person, we haven't seen him more than 10 years. I don't know, but I just remember he was so angry. And then when social media came out, I remember he said, I'm just going to talk about it, this and that. But no one knows where he is now. So I don't know if anything happened or he just somewhere in Atlanta.
Right.
I don't know. And I don't want to talk about some conspiracy theory, but I just know. So when we was talking earlier, Fred, about the NFL and their lack of morals when it comes to not investing in their athletes. So it shows that your employer is not really trustworthy. And I remember reading a book. It was I can't remember his name. Steve Weinberg. I think he was an agent or something like that.
When he said, "Oh, my agent," I thought, Steve from? Yeah, that's my agent. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think in the book he was one of the first people that you was able to trust.
Yes, he was the first. I'm from Detroit, so it's like 90. When I grew up, it was 90%. I didn't really interact with anybody other than black people until I was in high school. Yeah. So he was the first white man I actually trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Steve Weinberg. Yes.
Okay. So I guess he took care of you.
Yeah, he was pretty straight up about everything. All the other agents blowing hot smoke on my butt. They would tell me I'm gonna be a second-round draft pick. Steve said, with everything going on with your coach, your college coach talking blackballing you because I got a little trouble in college, you be lucky to go late round free agent. He was the first person to tell me that.
Wow.
Everybody else is telling me I'm going second round. Just
gassing you up.
Gassing me up. So I respected that from him. And then I found out he scored the highest on the agent test in the last 10 years. He always scored the highest on the agent's test.
Mm-hmm.
But he was known for getting players overpaid. He was good at that. And the NFL actually blacklisted him because he was so good at poker face. He would get guys overpaid. So his player in that position, he would get them paid 10 to 15% more than any other players in the same scenario. the same caliber player. So he was known for that. The NFL ended up blackballing him for a while for that. They gave him, they blacklisted him, and so he was kicked out of the league. He just got back in the league probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow, and you've been out of the league a minute.
Yeah, but he was in it for a minute. Yeah, he got blackballed because he got me overpaid. So I'm like, yeah, he did that. He was good at that. That was especially getting guys.
Hey man, there's no such thing as overpaid as much as y'all put your body out.
But pay more than other people with your same talent level.
Yes, and no such thing as overpaid because you got a life after the gridiron.
Right.
So and I want to bring a little humor in, about like the Hawaiian experience, the was that the Hula Bowl, and how y'all was having so much fun, and tell us about the experience. Tell about the experience. Isn't it?
What experience you talking about?
We can move past that if you.
I had a lot of experiences over there.
Yes. Well, let's keep it clean. So let's talk about the experience of a lesson of humility.
From the Hula Bowl, or
from that experience. Being there because there was so much going on, and having.
I don't know. I just know. I started to believe in the manifestation when I went to the Hula Bowl because originally I wasn't supposed to get invited, and then one player at the blue and gray game got hurt, and so they moved the player from the Hula Bowl in my position to the blue and gray game because they needed more players. So that got me invited to the Hula Bowl. And I get to the Hula Bowl, and I'm playing, and then both of the guys in front of me end up getting hurt. So I went from being third string in the Hula Bowl, starting in the Hula Bowl, and it was only me. I was the only real defensive tackle on my side of the foot that represent I was on the north, and the other guy was really a defensive end. So I had to play I ended up becoming third string to playing the whole Hula Bowl game, no backup. And so I told him, that's why I think I'll be careful what you ask for. So I asked God, I want to come here and show out and get as much plays as I can. And I ended up being the only defensive tackle on the north team. And the other guy was the defensive. He was a tweener. He played defensive end, but they made him play tackle because he was big. We didn't have no other tackles, but just me. So I ended up playing the whole game, and had a good game. And I still ended up getting a free agent shot. But coaches started to notice me then. That's when I really started to get noticed. I started getting more phone calls, and I ended up going, and then I ended up getting to choose between. And that's why I know God gives you discernment as well, because I ended up choosing between Philadelphia and Baltimore. Philadelphia offered me double the amount of money as Baltimore was going to offer me, but then the coach in Baltimore convinced me that this would be a better fit for me, and so I took less money with the Baltimore, ended up playing 3 years, getting a Super Bowl, and then my third year in Baltimore, I ended up finally getting $1 million contract. So I made more. And I went in because the Super Bowl got me. After I won a Super Bowl, I got paid that next year. Baltimore put me on high tender because Pittsburgh, when you're a free agent rookie, they can take you off of waivers. On your fourth year, they can come to you. So Pittsburgh, I played so good against the Steelers. The Steelers tried to pull me off of waivers, but the Baltimore high tendered me that year, and so it ended up working out great. So my discernment was to go to Baltimore, even though Philly, and I was broke at the time. Philly offered me double, and ended up working out for the best. So. Definitely, I started believing in manifestation after my Baltimore experience. Because everything I foresaw and I meditated and prayed on happened.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about honoring your gift of discernment. So many times people say, "Man, something told me to do this, something told me to do that." But when you honor your gift of discernment, normally you have positive results.
Yeah, I believe that's the message. I think that's the Most High God talking to you.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to listen to it. We won't guide you the wrong way. It worked out for me when I did. When I finally listened to it, it worked out for me.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that people do. Like when they going down this way, and something tells them not to go that way. I don't know why instantly they just don't go that way.
Right.
Because
curiosity.
You said what?
It's curiosity. They say curiosity kills the cat.
Yes,
yeah. It's like, why shouldn't I go that way? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and so the world travel. So having a very successful life, successful career, getting paid, traveling around the world, getting exposed to things, learning and growing, and definitely don't necessarily. I don't see you as a person who identifies strictly with football, but a person who's world traveled and a person who's culturally, who's a student of history. You definitely learned a lot about history, but also you didn't just read, you got a chance to visit those people and have their own personal experience. It's almost like action backing up words or words backing up actions. You know,
I actually had a conversation with the people, ask questions.
And I remember you was telling me something years ago when you were saying you would talk to people about the history and how this place was this, or like I think like Zimbabwe used to be Rhodesia, I believe, and how places in different parts of the world have changed, and the real names or the original names of these countries that's in Africa, or even the name of Africa wasn't necessarily the name of Africa.
Yeah.
No,
you know the colonizers came in and changed the names and everything. And, Africa used to be called, most of Africa was called Ethiopia. Like most Africa was Ethiopia. And, a lot. I think like Egypt was Kemet. So it's a lot of their, they changed a lot of the names because that's how they hide the history. They hide our history, hide our greatness. And, and so, but right now we're in the time of revelations and everything's coming to fruition. Everybody's starting, the truth is coming out right now.
Yes, a lot of truth.
Yeah, so.
A lot of our greatness, even you see, even colonizer at this point afraid of great people like Dion, and they see him as a threat. How a leader, you get it, a leader over his people. So we know football has 75% black, and if they get a black coach, it puts a lot of white coaches in a place feeling very uncomfortable.
Yeah, people feel comfortable, people they can identify with. And a young brother from the neighborhood going to identify more with Deion Sanders than he would. What's the coach in Alabama? I keep forgetting his name. I'm going to identify more with Deion Sanders. So I'm going to play for Deion Sanders because he reminds me of my father, my brother. You know what I'm saying? And my good friend. So I feel more comfortable talking to him. I feel more comfortable, playing for him. And with somebody like him being a great player, he understands the game. He understands what you're going through. I would work hard for somebody like him because I know he's been through the trenches. A lot of these coaches coach because they can't play. You know what I'm saying? So I respect them, but it's not the same respect that I'm going to get for somebody who actually been out there, been in training camp, bust his butt, blood, sweat, and tears on the field like I have. He understands it. I would want to work harder for somebody like that.
And also they understand like celebrating. And those other coaches, like, what's the point? It's almost like the broadcaster who went to school for broadcasting, and then you have a former athlete who became a broadcaster. They identify differently,
Right. Yeah, we animated as people. We like to celebrate, you know what I'm saying?
And that's so crazy to, suppress what's natural to you.
Right.
He's like, I see a joke and I can't laugh.
Hey, I've been busting my ass all training camp. I got this touchdown. I want to celebrate. I worked my ass off to get this touchdown or get this sack. So I want to celebrate my hard work, and I don't think anything wrong with celebrating your hard work.
Yeah, exactly. You
earned it. You earned that,
Yeah, you 1%ers. You're a defensive tackle, and you there to play defense, but somehow you pick up a fumble recovery and you run it for 20 yards and score a touchdown. You want to celebrate.
Right. They want you to sit there and get the ball back and just walk back like robots. Pretty much want you to be a robot, and I think it takes away from the game. The fans love it, so I don't know why it's such an issue with the with ownership, because the fans love it. The kids love it. I think it's just a culture. I think they just don't. They're trying to slow down the inevitable, and it's what Deion is doing.
Yeah,
they try to slow it down. They know once the culture, which represents us, gets involved with something, it's over with. Everybody's gonna want to be a part of it, and everybody and Deion is showing you that. And I think a lot of great players gonna start coaching. I think he's opened up the door for other coaches from the NFL or because they got Rod Woodson right now. He's coaching XFL. You know when Rod Woodson be an XFL coach? He's a Hall of Fame. He knows he's one of the smartest players I've actually played with. But he's an XFL. Why is he not an NFL coach? Why is he an XFL? You know what I'm saying? So I don't. It's a good old boy system, and right now we trying to what do they say? Break the guys selling. Deion Sanders is doing that, and I think he's going to open the door for a lot. We're going to see a lot more coaches from the NFL step up in high collegiate positions, coaching.
But you know what? I think it's something behind. I think it's something behind "We're Coming" that Dion is saying. We're coming.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so what we're gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. I see that you seem like you're having company, so I'm gonna ask you a few more
Okay.
and close it out. Listen, you remember Dion say "We're coming"? I think that's a collective. You know how certain things are said figuratively and literally, and I don't think it's just about him. It's we coming. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He said it though. He said you feel threatened. I'm a black man, unapologetically black man, speaking how I feel, and you feel threatened by that. When he said that, man, I got so fired up when he said that because most guys would be scared to say something like that. And I love the fact that he said that, and a lot of people feel like that. And I'm happy he said it. That's why I've always loved Deion Sanders because he's always been himself. He ain't changed nobody.
He's been himself his whole career, and whole career, high school, college. You know, because you know how some people are saying politically, say no. I graduated from HBCU, and you know some people they very strategic and not addressing real issues. He's not afraid to say white or black and on that microphone, on that platform. And that's one of the things we have to stop being so politically correct that we suppress who we really are.
Right, and I think that's why he's having so much success because people are, as black people in particular, love the fact that he's speaking his mind and he's saying what everybody at the barbershop been saying for years. He's bringing what we say in the barbershop and bringing it to mainstream, and he's speaking for a lot of people. A lot of people feel the way Deion Sanders feels, and I'm just proud of him for just doing that, you know, and I'm excited for him. And I'm not a Colorado fan, but I am a Deion Sanders fan. So
absolutely, and his presence alone has done so much for that university, that city, and his second records. And guess what? Not only he's the head coach, but his dogs are his children, you know, and the one he basically. Like his son, the cornerback plays both ways, and that's like his family, you know. So I appreciate that.
Right.
So man, I appreciate you sharing your experience, man. It's just been an incredible story, incredible journey. You've done some great things. You know, again, being a great person, a champion. Tell that fighter to be quiet. And so, man, thank you so much. Listen, again, thank you so much for just sharing your story, man, and being a great husband and father, entrepreneur, and a world traveler. And again, champion, thank you so much. So this has been Dr. Brother Suave on Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, a very special guest, Mr. Lionel Dalton, Super Bowl champion. Just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard?
We're shining bright. And we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
This program was made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, and from contributions to NPNTv from viewers like you. Thank you.